press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Namaste children, let us discuss some questions regarding chapter organisms and populations. So in the first question they have given match the column 1 with the column 2. So in that commensalism, so they have given in the column 1 commensalism, for that answer is 3. For the question number 1 answer is 3, that means commensalism we see between in that population interaction one species is going to be benefited, other one is neither harm nor benefited. So A second is the option. So one benefited, other one is unaffected, and B parasitism. In this type of biological interaction one species is benefited, other one is harmed, that is parasitism. So B parasitism, fourth is the option, one is benefited, other one is harmed. And mutualism, in this both species are benefited, hagagi for the C third is the answer, both are benefited. And D commensalism, in this type of interaction we see one species is going to be harmed, other one is neither harmed nor benefited. So one is harmed, other one is unaffected. So for the question number 1, third is the answer. Then coming to question number 2, carrying capacity is defined as, it's defined as the maximum number of the offsprings which an organism can produce during its fertile period. That's not the answer. The maximum number of individuals of species which can be sustained in a particular environment, that is the answer. So the carrying capacity does not depend on the reproductive fitness, it's the source which is present in the nature that helps for the survival of species. So that is the answer, second is the answer. For the second question, carrying capacity is defined as the maximum number of individuals of species which can be sustained in a particular environment. Then coming to the third question, in order to achieve maximum population in a habitat, which of the following is correct? So we know that higher the R value, the population size also increases. So for the third, first is the option. So they are asked maximum population in an habitat anta, they are asking increase in population anta. That's why higher R value is the answer for third question. And K means carrying capacity. K selected species as, that species will have high stability and low biotic potential. Biotic potential is measured in terms of what? Reproductive fitness. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ carrying capacity is doesn't depend on the reproductive fitness. It just supports the survival of species by providing food and space. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ K selected species as high stability and low biotic potential. Then the sigmoid curve of population growth is also known as worst per logistic growth. This type of population growth we see when resources are limited. Then coming to the sixth question, when the carrying capacity is equal to the population size, when the carrying K is equal to L, when carrying capacity is equal to the population size, the net rate of increase in the population equals to. So when the carrying capacity is equal to the population size, the net increase in population is equal to 0. There we see birth rate is equal to death rate. So the increase in population is 0. Then coming to the seventh question, a protozoan reproduces by binary fission. What will be the number of protozoans in its population after 6 generations? So you know that protozoans will reproduce by a asexual method of reproduction, that is binary fission. So in the first generation we get 2 individuals. In the second generation 2 will give rise to 2. So 2 into 2 in the second generation 4 protozoans we get. In the third generation, 4 into 2, 8 protozoans we get. Whereas in fourth generation, 8 into 2, 16 protozoans we get. Whereas in fifth generation, 16 into 2, 32 protozoans we get. Whereas in sixth generation, 32 into 2, we get 64 protozoans. So, we get 64 protozoans by binary fission in sixth generation. Third is the answer for 7th question. Then coming to 10th question, how much pressure is experienced by marine invertebrates and fishes living at the great depth in oceans? Usually in the depth of the ocean, the pressure will be, so they have to experience more than 100 times that of normal atmospheric pressure. So, fourth is the answer for 10th question. Then question number 13th. So, they have given the diagram. So, in that you have to see to that which, see, external level, internal level, notkobeku neevu. Third is the answer for 13th question. So, third means the external level and y-axis shows external level and horizontal shows external level. Vertical line shows internal level, horizontal line shows external level. In that, so partial regulators and regulators conformers. This is the correct diagram which represents the response of biotic organisms, biotic factors to abiotic factors. So, third is the answer for 13th question. And biome having maximum rainfall is, that is tropical forest. There we see nearly 150 to 400 centimeter rain per annual. That's so tropical rainforest. That is the answer. Then coming to the question 22nd. Which is a potent force for organic evolution? So, in the organic evolution, the population interactions, that is showing interspecific computation is very important. Intra means when we see the computation between the same species, that is called intraspecific computation. But the Charles Darwin told interspecific computation is more potent in organic evolution. For 22nd, second is the answer. Coming to 24th question. Nike. So, habitat tells where the organism is going to live in a ecosystem. So, Nike tells us functional role of that organism in an ecosystem. So, Nike is the functional role played by an organism where it lives. So, 24, fourth is the answer. Then coming to 26th. See, they have asked a population of lotus plants in a pond is 450 in the starting of January 2014. It has birth rate of 0.2 per lotus plant per month. The number of plants after 2 months will be. So, for this you have to take multiply 450 by 0.2. When you multiply 450 by 0.2, then 0.2 you take it as 2 by 10. So, 2 by 10 into 450 we get 90. So, in 1 month we see 90 lotus have increased. So, for 2 months means 90 into 2 we get 180. So, add that 180 into 450 we get 630 is the answer. Understood? So, 1 month we get we have to calculate how many number of lotus plant have increased. So, 0.2 into 450 ಮಾಡಿ. So, 0.2 ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ತಗೊಂತೀರಾ 2 by 10 ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So, 2 by 10 into 450 we get 90. So, per month 90 lotus plants have increased, and they have asked 2 months. So multiply 90 into 2, we get 80. So add that 180 to the initial population, that is 450, we get 630. That is the answer for 26th question. And 27, the diagram shows us it is a stable population because here pre-reproductive and reproductive population is same. However, this diagram shows us stable type of population. And 28, which abiotic factor mainly affects the kinetics of enzymes and through it the basal metabolism activity and other physiological functions of the organisms. We know that enzymes have their particular pH and temperature. So below that and above that they are non-functional. So for the 28th answer, temperature. Temperature plays a very important role in the kinetics of enzymes. So for 28, second is the answer. Then 31st question. The term given to the short term properties of the atmosphere, short term and it is going to remain for a shorter period, like temperature, pressure, humidity at a given place and time is called climate. This is called climatic changes and the healthy way. So the answer for the 31st is third is the answer. And for the 33, which bacteria can flourish in hot springs and deep sea hydrothermal vents? We know that it's a archaebacteria which is able to survive in all extreme conditions. Second is the option for 33. Then 34th, in the 34th, the population growth is generally described by the following equation. Tn by dt equals Rn bracket k minus n by k. So what does R represents in this given equation? R represents intrinsic rate of natural increase. Second is the answer. And 35, a striking difference between immigration and emigration is. So it is mainly the difference is immigration considers total number of species in a given habitat, while emigration refers to a single species. That's the answer. Second is the answer for 35th. And in which 36, in which type of forest is humus formed by dry and dead leaves? That is deciduous forest. Decidua means fall. Udrodu. Elegalella udroguttalla. That is called decidua. So here they ask, humus is formed by dry and dead leaves. That is mainly seen in deciduous forest. 36th, second is the answer. And 37, human population growth curve of today is. It is today we know that as the population increase, we are facing lot of problem with the scarcity of food. Alva, that's why today's population growth curve is of S shape. Third is the answer for 37. See, then 38, if the biotic potential of a species becomes I, if the biotic potential of the species becomes I, then number of species in area will increase, species diversity in area will increase, number of individuals of a particular species will increase. So the answer is 3. If the biotic potential of a species becomes I, then number of individuals of a particular species will increase in that habitat. Third is the answer. Then 40th question. In nature, a given habitat has enough resources to support a maximum possible number, beyond which no further growth is possible. This is termed as. So that is what the question. In nature, a given habitat has enough resources to support a maximum possible number, beyond which no further growth is possible means resources are limited entirely. So this system is nothing but carrying capacity. So carrying capacity means nothing but in nature some resource will be present that able to sustain the organism in that habitat by providing food and space, that is carrying capacity. So 40th second is the answer. Then 41, in a pond there were 200 plants last year and through reproduction 80 new plants were added. The birth rate per plant per year is, we know that number of plants added we have to take in the numerator. So 80 divided by 200 total number. So when we take 80 divided by 200 we get 0.4. The answer is birth rate per plant is 0.4. 41 third is the answer. And diapause is a stage of suspended development. It is a stage of suspended development during unfavorable conditions. So some zooplanktons we see during unfavorable conditions they stop their metabolic activities, that is suspended development. So diapause is a stage of suspended development. Then coming to the question 45, which of the following biome shows a high mean annual temperature and high mean annual precipitation? We know that it is tropical rainforest, where we see the rainfall nearly 150 to 400 centimeters annually. So that is tropical rainforest. For 45th, third is the answer. And in which 46th, in which biome a new plant may adopt soon? So again, the new plant cannot adopt in desert or in mangrove or in sea island. They can easily adopt in tropical rainforest because of mean annual temperature and rainfall is supporting the growth of species. Hagagi for the 46th, first is the answer. Then 48th question. The organisms inhabiting a common environment belonging to the same community. The organisms inhabiting a common environment belonging to the same community. Community is the answer for 48. And 49, which of the following is an example of co-evolution? Co-evolution are the two at the same time, same changes should be seen in the both the species which are interdependent to each other, So that is nothing but co-evolution. So that type of evolution we see in mutualism and also in brood parasitism. So here they have asked which of the following is an example of co-evolution? Barnacle and whale, it is comes under parasitism. Clownfish and sea anemone, that is commensalism. Even barnacle, that is the it's a parasitism but not dependent. They will not show co-evolution. Hermit crab and sea anemone, they will not show co-evolution. Whereas bees and orchid flower. Orchid flower, as we know that one of the petal of the orchid flower resembles a female honeybee. So the male bumblebee will thought that the petal as a female honeybee and it pseudocopulates with that petal. That in that way the sexual desire of male honeybee is fulfilled and the flower is going to be pollinated. If any changes occurs in the petal of that orchid flower, or if any changes that occurs in the female honeybee, the same changes should be seen in the petal of the orchid flower also. So that is nothing but co-evolution. Example for co-evolution is bees and orchid flower. Fourth is the answer for 49th question. And 50th question, night overlap indicates, it indicates sharing of resources in the same species. The next And in some they have given ninth means that overlaps means competition between two species for similar resources also. So that fourth is also answer for that 58th question. And 51, behavioral adaptation of an organism to tolerate stressful external environmental conditions is. So hibernation is nothing but winter sleep, estivation is nothing but summer sleep, migration, diapause, all these come under behavioral adaptation. Fourth is the answer for 51. Then maximum growth rate, 53, maximum growth rate occurs in, they are given stationary phase, lag phase, exponential phase and senescent phase. So the maximum growth rate occurs in exponential phase. Third is the answer. And we know that Allen's rule. Allen's rule tells us mammals from colder climates have shorter ears and limbs to minimize heat loss. For 54th, second is the answer. And 55th question, what is exactly stability for a biological community? So it should not show much variation in productivity. Yes, it must be either resistant or resilient to occasional disturbances. That is also correct. It must also be resistance to invasions by alien species. So all of the above is correct for the 55th question. Then coming to 59. So which type of association is found in between entomophilous flower and pollinating agent? So entomophilous means the pollinating agents are insects. So in this we see mutualism type of interaction. So 59, first is the answer. Then 60, the formula dN by dt equals Rn represents exponential growth. 61, in general dash and dash appear to be more adversely affected by competition than dash. That means A is carnivore, B is herbivore. So we go for the 61, we go with the answer second option. So B is herbivore, C is carnivore and A is plants. So in this, the more adversely affected. So plants and herbivores appear to be more adversely affected by competition than carnivores. So 61, second is the answer. So the 62 question, the shape of the curve with time t against density, population density n with limited source will be S shape or sigmoid shape. 62, second is the option. And again 63, they have given, study the following equation in the context of population growth. dN by dt equals B minus dN. Substituting R in the place of birth rate and death rate, then R is known as, we know that R is intrinsic rate of natural increase. So third is the answer for this. So second and third are, okay, third is the answer. ನೀವು don't be confused. Second they have given intrinsic rate of natural decrease ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Answer is 3. R represents increasing rate of natural increase. So we know that Allen's rule is with respect to mammals. For 64, second is the option. And coming to 67, why you never see cattle or goats browsing on weed calotropes? We know that calotropes, the plants also, they cannot move from one place to another to protect themselves from their predators. That's why they start developing some defense mechanism like taunts and by producing chemical substances in them. so that the predators will not eat them. So this calotropis, ekegida anta en heltivalla, it produces a chemical substance called cardiac glycosides that will disturb the physiological functions of predators. So hagagi the plant produces poisonous cardiac glycosides, that's why the cattle and goats will not browse that plants. That is the answer. 67. Third is the answer. The plant produces poisonous cardiac glycosides as a defense mechanism. And 69 question. The kangaroo rat in North American deserts is capable of meeting all its water requirement through mainly by internal fat oxidation, not by drinking water, not by storing fat, internal fat storage, but mainly by the fat storage helps in meeting water requirement, but the main point is the oxidation of fat. Store agi fat oxidation agಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is no availability of water for the kangaroo rat, because the oxidation of fat, in this oxidation of fat, water is byproduct. That water is utilized by this kangaroo rat for its physiological functions. Hagagi internal fat oxidation is the answer for 69th question. Then diagram 71, what they are showing, the bird catching the fish. So it is a type of predation. It is a type of predation. So for 71, fourth is the answer. On 72 question, in some shallow South American lakes, visiting flamingos and resident fishes compete for their common food, that is zooplankton. Second is the answer. So the competition need not to be occur between the same or closely related species for the same resources. The competition will also occur between two different species for the same resources. So in this, the flamingos visiting flamingos birds and also these fishes will compete for the same resources, that is zooplanktons, but these two are different species competing for the same resources. So 72, second is the option. And according to the census report of 2001, the population growth rate was 1.7%. Second is the answer for 73. Then 75th, the two plants can be conclusively said to belong to the same species. See, two plants can be conclusively said to belong to the same species if they have same number of chromosomes. No. Species anta andaga the species should interbreed themselves to produce fertile offsprings. So can reproduce freely with each other and form seeds. That is the answer. For 75th, second is the answer. The 76th, an association of individuals of different species living in the same habitat and having functional interactions is nothing but biotic community. Then 77, habitat includes biotic factors and also abiotic factors. So biotic components, physico-chemical components, pathogens, parasites, predators, competitors and different species. When all these things are present, then only we can tell it as a habitat. So the answer is 4. In the habitat we see all the 4. That is, it includes biotic components and physico-chemical components, pathogens, predators and also different types of species. In 78, according to the evolutionary biologists, the success of mammals is due to their main reason of sustainability of human beings on earth is mainly due to the maintaining homeostasis, that is ability to maintain a constant body temperature. For 78, second is the option. The main reason for the success of mammals on this earth is mainly by maintaining their body temperature constant and also the osmotic concentration. So for 78, second is the option. And which one is correct? So in this they have given in colder region big organisms. So in colder we will not see the organisms having large surface area. If they have large surface area, the heat is going to be lost. So 79, fourth is the option warm region, small organism and large surface area. Then coming to 81, some species, colonies and area and their population became more numerous, whereas population of other species decline or even disappear. This change occurs during predation. If the predators are more, they are responsible for extinction of species also. They are telling us the population of other species will decline. Decline means it is going to be reduced, and even they become disappear means extinct. That means prey are going to be extinct. So that type of population interaction is called predation. For 81, second is the answer. So vitality, 82nd, vitality is nothing but mortality rate in normal conditions. Understood? Then coming to the 87th question, the salt concentration in sea is between 30 to 35 parts per thousand. Second is the option for 87. And 88, in age pyramids, always the bottom is occupied by pre-reproductive population. First is the answer. Carrying capacity K, 89th question. Carrying capacity K means it denotes as nature limit for supporting maximum number of species. Third is the answer. Then coming to question number 93, asymptote stage. Asymptote stage, the population is stabilized. In the asymptote stage, little bit variation will be there, little bit increase and decrease will be there, but the population will be stabilized. So 93, stabilized is the answer. And in 94, identify the incorrect statement. So they are asking us to identify incorrect statement. Parasitic mode of life ensures free lodging and meals. So parasitism has evolved in so many taxonomic groups from plants to higher vertebrates. Free lodging means host is providing place for the parasites in their body. Hagagi, that is free lodging. Meals, these parasites are directly absorbing digested food from the host. Hagagi, they are getting free meals. So that is the answer. The correct answer here, parasitic mode of life ensures free lodging and meals. So parasitism has evolved in so many taxonomic groups from plants to higher vertebrates. That is correct. And many parasites have evolved to be host specific. They can parasite only a single species of host. That is also correct. The life cycle of parasites are often complex as involving one or more, two intermediate hosts or vectors to facilitate parasitization of its secondary host they have given. It is not secondary host, it is primary host. So C is incorrect. All of the parasites harm the host. No, some will not harm the host. However, D is incorrect. Lice and dogs, no, it is lice on humans. Pigs and dogs agbeko. E is incorrect. So C, D, E is incorrect. Third is the answer for 94th question. Then coming to question number 100. Secondary metabolites such as nicotine, strychnine and caffeine are produced by plants for air, mainly for their defense action. So when they are produced these chemicals, when predators are going to eat these plants, these chemicals are going to disturb the physiological functions in predators. Sometimes they may kill the predators. So as a defense mechanism, they are going to produce these chemicals as a secondary metabolites. So third is the answer for 100. And declining phase of population occurs. Decline when population is going to be decreased, when death rate and emigration occurs. So otherly main age mortality and letality are important. To increase letality is important, decrease andaga mortality. So mortality is more than letality. So the declining phase of population occurs when mortality is more than letality. 101 is for 101, first is the answer. And natural selection acts at always the habitat selection or natural selection is at population level only, not at single individual. So natural selection acts at population level. Second is the answer for 102. And 103, identify the correct statement. Totally unrelated species could also compete for the same resources. Yes, so we discussed that visiting flamingos and fishes will compete for the same resources. Zooplanktons, the two are unrelated species. That is correct. Resources need not to be limiting for compete to occur. That is also correct. So between abundant tortoise and goats. So there the browsing capacity plays an important factor. In interference competition, feeding efficiency of one species might be reduced due to the interfering and inhibitory presence of the other species, even if resources are abundant. Yes, that is correct. So all are true. So for 103, fourth is the option. So the world population was 2000 billion in the year. Fourth option ali 1990 idadu 1900 ಆಗಬೇಕು. Fourth is the option. Next 106. Most successful parasites are those which do not grow free, kill their host. Second is the option. So the most successful parasites are those which do not kill their host. If host is survived, even the parasites are going to be survived. Hagagi, these are the successful parasites will not kill their host. 106, second is the option. And 107, the population of an insect species shows an explosive increase in number during rainy season, followed by its disappearance at the end of the season. What does this show? The population of its predators increase, S-shaped or sigmoid growth of this insect. The food plants mature and die at the end of the rainy season. Its population growth curve is J-shaped. No, this shows here the population of an insect species shows an explosive increase in number during rainy season, followed by its disappearance at the end of the season. This shows the population growth curve is of J-shape. Population growth is of J-shape. Then coming with 109, if two species compete for the same resources, they could avoid competition by choosing different times for feeding, different foraging pattern and behavioral differences in their foraging activities. By doing all the three, they can avoid competition. So all of the above is the answer for 109. Then 110, microbes are present everywhere in soil, water, air, inside our bodies and that of other plants and animals. They are present even at sites where no other life form could possibly exist, such as deep inside the gas, thermal vents where the temperature may be high as 100 degrees Celsius, deep in the soil and under the layers of snow several meters thick in high acidic environment. So all of the above are the correct answer for 1 or 10. So if 1 not, so in 111, a high density elephant population in an area will result in high density population and the population number of elephant has been increased anta. That results in mutualism, no. Predation on predation on one another, no. Interspecific, no. Intraspecific. They start competing for the same resources. When the population of same species increase, that results in intra, means competing between themselves. That is the answer. Intraspecific competition occurs. So 111, fourth is the answer. And 1112, the diagram shows us, see, A is lag phase, B is exponential phase, where E is stationary phase. So B is third is the answer for 112. Understood? So for this 112, third is the answer. B is exponential phase. See, in this diagram, A shows lag phase, B shows exponential phase, C shows acceleration phase, that is positive acceleration, not negative, and D shows deceleration phase, and E shows stationary phase. So namige correct agi siguvantadu illi optionally 112 ge third is the answer, that is B shows exponential phase and E shows stationary phase. Then we will move with a question. 116, identify the incorrect statement. So we have to identify incorrect statement. Predation is nature's way of transferring to higher trophic levels the energy fixed by plants. That is correct. The predation is going to transfer energy from lower trophic level to higher trophic level. Prey keep predator population under control. No, the predator keep prey population under control. So B is incorrect. Biological control methods adopted in agricultural pest control are based on the ability of the prey to regulate the predator population. No, it's based on the ability of the predator to regulate the prey population. So C is incorrect. Predator helps in maintaining species diversity in a community by inducing the intensity of competition among competing prey species. That is not by inducing, it is preventing the competition among competing prey species. By preventing competition, it helps to maintain species diversity. Hagagi, the answer is third. So B, C and D are incorrect. Only A is correct. Coming to 120 question. A terrestrial animal must be able to, the terrestrial animals must be able to excrete large amount of water in urine, conserve water. So mainly the terrestrial animal must be able to conserve water. We know that we discussed in excretory system, antidiuretic hormone helps to absorb water from distal convoluted tubule of nephron. Mainly what? To conserve water. We need water for the physiological functions of our body. For the metabolism to occur in our body, we need water. To maintain constant temperature, we need water. Hagagi, a terrestrial animal must be able to conserve water. Then 121, habitats such as thermal springs and deep sea hydrothermal vents average temperature exceeds more than 100 degrees Celsius. So 1 is the answer for 121. And 123, for the question 123, which of the following exhibits mutualism? Mycorrhiza living on the roots of higher plants. Yes, they show mutualism. This mycorrhiza absorbs the nutrients from the soil, In turn, the plants will provide carbohydrates to the mycorrhiza. Wasps pollinating fig inflorescence. This wasp, they are specific in their interaction. Fig inflorescence is specific for the pollination. It requires wasp insect only for the pollination. Understood? So this shows mutualism. And sea anemone often found on the shell of hermit crab. So 123. So here all of this is the answer. All of this is the answer. Next, exponential growth in human population is done in log phase. 124, second is the answer. In 126, what is common in mutualism, parasitism and commensalism? All organisms participating in above relations are belonging to some species, or at least one interacting species is benefited. That is the answer for 126. See here, in mutualism, first optional end ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. All organisms participating in above relations are belonging to some species and at least one interacting species is benefited. Third is at least one interacting species is harmed. Fourth, both organisms get harmed. So illenagutte in these three types of interactions, one species is going to be benefited. Alva, hagagi second is the option for 126. Ekane parasitism alli one is benefited, other one is harmed. Commensalism alli one is benefited, other one is neither harmed nor benefited. Mutualism, both are benefited. Hagagi we'll go with second option for 126. The 127, the extinction of Abingdon tortoise from Galapagos Islands was due to competitive exclusion. 127, second is the answer. And for the 128, the carrying capacity of a population is determined by its limiting resource. So 128, third is the answer. So which character, 129, which character of species is susceptible to extinction? Large body size and low reproductive rate. Low reproductive rate also shows us the number is less. And small population size, as they will obviously one day become extinct. And feeding at itropic level in food chain, the tertiary level organisms are less in number. So all three are responsible for extinction of that species. All the above is the answer for 129. And 130, sinking of zooplankton during the day and rising to the surface at night is an example of circadian rhythm. Based on the light, that is called circadian rhythm. That is 130, second is the option. Then 138, development of poisonous cardiac glycosides in keratopes is an example for chemical defense. Second is the option for 132. 132, second is the option. The next we'll move it. 133. See, if a population of 50 paramecium present in a pool increased to 150 after an hour, what would be the growth rate of the population? So time t1 ಎಷ್ಟು 50 ಇತ್ತು, time 2 150 ಇದೆ. So per hour ಎಷ್ಟು population increase ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we can go with t2 minus t1, that is 150 minus 50, we get 100. So 100 per power the population has increased. Fourth is the answer for 133. So coming to 138, which one has the correct sequence of increasing organizational complexity? So population, community and ecosystem. It's the answer. Understood? The second option, first namig barbekagirodu species, species in the we get population, then community, then ecosystem. So here the correct option is 1. So 138, 1 is the answer. So population, community and ecosystem. So 139, the R value for the human population in India is 0.0205. Third is the answer. And 141, in feeding efficiency of one species might be reduced due to the interfering and inhibitory presence of the other species, even if resources are abundant, then it is called interference computation. This type of computation based on feeding efficiency is called interference computation. Then 144, a cuckoo laying eggs in the nest of other species of birds is an example for. Here this coil is dependent on the crow mainly to lay the eggs as it cannot build the nest. Hagagi, this type of parasitism is called brood parasitism. 144, second is the answer. So in 145, which two of the following changes usually tend to occur in the plane delivers when they move to high altitudes? So increase in red blood cell size. The size will not increase, the number will increase. However, one is not. Increase in red blood cell production, that is correct. Increase in breathing rate, that is also correct. Increase in thrombocyte count, we doesn't require thrombocyte. So here second and third is the correct. So they are asked us to choose which two occurs in higher altitudes. Increase in red blood cell production occurs with the increased breathing rate for the adaptation for the availability of low oxygen in higher altitudes. So first is the option for 145. So in the plain dwellers, when we move to higher altitudes, we see increase in RBC production and higher breathing rate, increase in breathing rate. So in 146, in this type of computation, see, proto-cooperation, they are given. Proto-cooperation means it is a type of mutualism. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, mutualism ಅಲ್ಲಿ we saw that wasp, insect and fig inflorescence. Without wasp, the fig inflorescence will not pollinate. They need, two are very much important for their survival. But in proto-cooperation, it is a type of mutualism, but need not to be compulsory. Need not to be compulsory. Understood? So for this option is third is the correct answer. That means proto-cooperation is seen in hermit crab and sea anemone. Understood? And B, commensalism, there is a, for the commensalism, sea anemone and clownfish. Amensalism, penicillium and staphylococcus. Parasitism, cocoa and crow. Hagagi, third is the answer for 146. See, hermit crab and say anemone, it is a type of mutualism, but illi hermit crab, it will never, if hermit crab is going to become extinct, sea anemone will not become extinct. They are not dependent on each other, but they show mutualism. Sometimes they show mutualism. That type of interaction is called proto-cooperation. So 146, third is the answer. Then 150, after poaching 3 lions in certain forest of Gujarat, only 15 are left in a year. Determine the death rate per capita. Death rate anta andaga, so we have to see. So total number ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Tiger 3 were killed. Present ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, 15 ಇದೆ. So 15 plus 3 it is 18. So how many are killed? Death ಆಗಿರೋದು 3. 3 divided by 18, we get 0.166 answer. So third is the answer for 150. So 153 divided by 18, we get 0.166. Then coming to 152, two species competing for the same resources cannot coexist indefinitely. This statement is given by Gauss. Say Gauss competitive exclusion principle. Fourth is the answer for that. Then, when resources are limited, which are the phases exhibited by an organism during growth? First, it shows lag phase, then acceleration, then deceleration, then asymptote. So, that is fourth is the answer for 153, S-shaped. 154, special modifications with respect to dash make it possible for an organism to survive in the desert. Modification with respect to water. They should conserve water. So that is one is the answer for 154. And 155, if in a pond there were 20 lotus plants last year and through reproduction 8 new plants are added, taking the current population to 28, the birth rate is. So we have to take number of population increase, that is number of lotus added is 8 divided by ST2 initially 20th. So 8 divided by 20, we get 0.4 lotus per year. So third is the answer for 155. Then coming to 158, snails and fish undergo estivation. Estivation means summer sleep. They will go and hide during summer to prevent the loss of water. So snails and fish undergo estivation to avoid summer related problems of feed and desiccation. That means to prevent the loss of water. Second is the option for 158. So in ecology, N by S represents population density. Coming to 162, which of the following would necessarily decrease the density of population in a given habitat? Decrease antandaga, that is mortality and emigration. Whereas natality and immigration increases the population density, whereas mortality and emigration decreases the population density. 162, third is the answer. Then coming to 165, exponential growth takes place whenever the birth rate exceeds the death rate over a prolonged period of time. A is birth rate, B is death rate. When birth rate increases, that results in exponential growth. Understood? So exponential growth takes place whenever the birth rate exceeds the death rate. So hagagi second is the option for 165. Density of population increases when there is natality and immigration increases. For 166, second is the answer. And 167, for the defense against predators, butterflies become highly distasteful due to having a certain chemical in their bodies. What is the source of the chemical? These monarch butterfly, they acquire this chemical by feeding on poisonous weeds when during their caterpillar stage. Hagagi second is the option for 167. The butterfly acquires this chemical during its caterpillar stage by feeding on a poisonous plant. Then in 169, how many of the following shows mutualism? Lichen, as it shows, fig and wasp, that is also correct. Mycorrhiza, that is also correct. Pronova, moth, yucca plant, that shows mutualism. So these four shows mutualism. There is epiphyte mango, that is commensalism. Barnacle whale, that is also commensalism. Say anemone clownfish, that is also commensalism. Hagagi first is the answer for 169. 4 ಯಾವ್ದು lichen will show, fig wasp will show, mycorrhiza, Pronova, moth, yucca plant, all these shows mutualism. And 170, fruit eating birds are called frugivores. They are called frugivores. Third is the answer. Then we'll come with a 172. In the 172, which of the following, which a population has certain attributes that an individual organism does not like. So birth, individual organism is having birth and death, but not birth rate and death rate. So birth rate, death rate, sex ratio is seen in population level. Hagagi B, C and D is the answer. So third is the answer for 172. Then we'll go with question 173. So read the statements regarding population interactions. Biological control methods are adopted in agriculture pest control. In the rocky intertidal area of American Pacific coast, starfish is an important predator. Yes. Some species of frog and insect shows camouflage. Correct. Parasite and host show co-evolution. Yes. How many of the above statements are correct? So all A, B, C, D are correct. So 173, fourth is the option. 176, as teak wood forest, in the forest we see teak wood, hage cormorants we see in wetland. Fourth is the answer for 176. Then coming to 178, in the 178, the resemblance of one organism to another for protection and hiding is called camouflage. That is called camouflage. 178, fourth is the answer. And 180, asymptote is a logistic growth curve is obtained. So asymptote in a logistic growth curve is obtained when we see K equals N. When carrying capacity is equal to population size, then we see stability, that is asymptote. So 180, second is the answer. So this completes the discussion about organisms and populations. So each, as I am telling from beginning only, read your textbook line wise, and in the population interaction, every examples are very important for your competitive exams. Understood? Thank you.